Thank you very much, Mr. President. And as I have folks that are joining me, some may be a little surprised, but I'm going to get to that in a moment. It's going to all make sense in just a moment. But did want to highlight our recognition of Chesapeake Bay Awareness Week and all of the great things that are happening, not only with this week in terms of recognizing the importance of the Chesapeake Bay, but also this month as well. I used to chair the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments Chesapeake Bay Water Resource Policy Committee. And there we had a chance to talk about what is really important, understanding that the environment is key and protecting our waterways is integral to our future, but also educating our children and our future generations about caring for these great natural resources. And as we recognize the first week of June to ensure our residents understand and ensure the protection of the Chesapeake Bay, it is important to understand that it's not just an environmental resource for us, but it's also an economic one. So many of the watermen and fishermen that are out there on the bay each and every day to bring you your Maryland blue crabs or your rockfish that you love, those beautiful oysters, that's all linked to the healthiness of our Chesapeake Bay. So much so that we actually sponsored legislation, and my colleagues here behind me were gracious enough to support this initiative that actually banned coal tar sealants. A lot of people don't know that coal tar sealants, the lovely shiny stuff that we used to put on top of asphalt to make it look really pretty, was actually harming a lot of our water resources throughout the county. And so we actually banned it. We actually became the first watershed in the nation, in the Chesapeake Bay watershed, with both Prince George's, DC, and Montgomery County, the first watershed in the nation to ban coal tar sealants, which actually led to a greater healthiness of our Chesapeake Bay. But we can do more, and we know that. Through cleanup, we've got 1,500 miles of Montgomery County streams that feed into the bay. Many of you know about so many of them, 10 Mile Creek and others that are great treasures that are here in Montgomery County, Sligo Creek and others. Some have participated in cleanups. I know our recreation department that I see does a lot. I've seen them out there on cleanup days. And so seeing that, as well as the stormwater management efforts, my great colleagues that are on the T&E committee have done a lot of work in terms of making sure, working with our Department of Environmental Protection, that we have those things that are there. It is critical at the end of the day that we make sure that people understand just how important this is. If we don't take care of this incredible resource, we lose so much when it comes to our goals for making sure that we can combat climate change. So, why are libraries here behind me? Well, there's a great initiative that's about to go on, and I'm not going to spoil it, but I want Anita Vassallo, who's our Director of Libraries, to come up and tell you about a little initiative that we have that we're starting here in the state of Maryland with Maryland Public Libraries to make sure that we enhance awareness for everyone when it comes to the healthiness of the Chesapeake Bay. So let me turn to Director Vassallo.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Rice. I'm Anita Vassallo. I'm the Director of Montgomery County Public Libraries, and our summer reading challenge this year is all about the Bay. So we're partnering with the Chesapeake Bay Foundation. The state theme is Oceans of Possibilities, but here in Montgomery County, what we're going to be doing is offering all children and teens who sign up 3 missions to accomplish. Mission 1 will allow us to provide funds to the Chesapeake Bay Foundation to plant 50,000 trees in the watershed. Mission 2 will allow us to seed 250,000 oysters in the bay. And Mission 3 will allow us to clean up habitat around the bay for diamondback terrapins, tundra swans, and ospreys. This is funded by the Friends of the Library, Montgomery County. We determined that this year, instead of giving children plastic toys and prizes, which would make their way ultimately into the waste stream and so into the bay, we're giving the children in Montgomery County the opportunity to support the bay, which is, of course, of critical importance to all of us who live in the state of Maryland. And I have some gifts here for the members of the Education and Culture Committee who oversee libraries that they can wear proudly throughout the summer. These are our t-shirts for our Oceans of Possibilities. One for Councilmember Jawando, you're not getting an extra large. One for, and then this is for Nancy. She's not here. So, thank you all. Encourage every kid you know between birth and 17 to sign up for summer reading and helps protect the Bay. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Director Vassallo. So it's really, really exciting. And as a father of two girls who read voraciously, it is incredibly important to make sure that we're teaching folks about what it is and how important the Bay is for us. Another person who certainly knows this all too well and is committed to the effort is our acting director of our Department of Environmental Protection, Adriana Hochberg. So, Adriana.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Rice. I'm Adriana Hochberg, the acting director of your Department of Environmental Protection. It may not feel like we touch the Chesapeake Bay here in Montgomery County, but the Bay is all around us. Montgomery County has 1,500 miles of streams, and the flow of every stream in the county eventually reaches the Chesapeake Bay, which is the largest estuary in the entire United States. This annual commemoration of the Chesapeake Bay highlights the culture, history, and natural beauty of the Bay in its surrounding lands, rivers, and streams. So no matter where we are all connected to this beautiful resource. This year's theme is Restoration Brings Results. Montgomery County has a new MS4, a Municipal Separate Stormwater Sewer Permit, and we are focused on bringing results for water quality. We are using new approaches and an equity lens while we work to restore over 1,800 acres for stormwater protection. Chesapeake Bay Awareness Week is also a time to remind residents and businesses that daily actions and behaviors have a direct impact on the Bay. What you do and the decisions that you make can impact the Bay, like plogging. That's the simple act of picking up trash that's on the ground while you're out and about, going for a walk or a jog. Also, things like skipping the straw when at restaurants can have an impact. Using a reusable bag for your groceries or a reusable bottle to kick our dependency on single-use plastics. Even with your pets, making sure that you pick up after them. If straws, plastic bags, and dog poop are not disposed of properly, they can end up in our streams and eventually into the Chesapeake Bay. So let's be mindful every day of what it takes to have clean water in Montgomery County. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Director Hochberg. And so I did, before I turn to my colleagues, Councilmember Jawando, who's our lead for libraries, and Councilmember Glass, or Council Vice President Glass, excuse me, I did want to acknowledge that behind me we also have Cassandra Malik, who's the Early Literacy and Children's Services Program Manager at Montgomery County Public Libraries, Sean Riley, who's the Head of Children's Services at the Noyes Library for Young Children, and Nalani Devendra, who is the Children's Services Library Associate at the Rockville Memorial Library. So our library folks are in full force today to make sure that we show our commitment. So with that, I'll turn it to our lead for libraries, Councilmember Jawando.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Rice. And there is nothing like a children's librarian. You know, I like all librarians, but children's librarians are the most fun. Good morning, everybody, and it's great to be with you. I'm so excited that we're partnering with the Chesapeake Bay Foundation for this year's summer reading challenge. And you heard the 3 challenges. We're going to plant some trees, we're going to seed some oysters, and we're going to clean up the bay. That's so critically important that children in this region and adults, you know, because a lot of times we learn from our kids, understand the importance of maintaining and keeping our bay clean. I think it's June 15th. Is that tomorrow? So the challenge starts tomorrow. We're going to sign up the Jawando girls and others. But please sign up. And Flat Finley the shark, right? Isn't that the? Okay, so Flat Finley the shark. We may see some appearances from him this summer. But it's a really exciting partnership. And I just want to commend Director Vassallo and the whole team for doing this and stepping up in a new way. And Director Hochberg, who's committed to making sure we reduce single-use plastics, and we've been working on that and more to come on that. But this is an exciting initiative, and I want to thank everyone involved. With that, I'll turn on to my colleague, Councilmember Vice President Glass.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Chair Rice, for organizing this proclamation and to everybody who's participating in it. You know, I love the fact that a central focus of this is educating our young people and making sure they know how vital the Bay is, not only to Maryland, but to our region. The Bay is our lungs, and it helps clean and purify everything that we have here in our region. And it is so critically important for us to recognize the tie-ins, as has been mentioned, with all the waterways and the streams and the runoff. And as we continue to grow, we need to be mindful of the effects that each and every one of us has. And I know that's what we here on the council are doing, and our colleagues in the State House are doing that as well. And I just want to say thank you, and I look forward to, if not participating in the challenge myself, because I'm a little older than the age cutoff, following the progress of the Jawando girls or others as well. So thank you very much.
All right, don't go anywhere, Council Vice President, because it's now time for us to read the proclamation. So I'll start off, and then we'll rotate through. All right, so whereas the Chesapeake Bay is the largest and most productive estuary in the United States, spanning across Maryland, Delaware, New York, Pennsylvania, Virginia, West Virginia, and the District of Columbia, and serves as a vital environmental, recreational, and economic resource to approximately 18 million people living within its watershed. And
whereas the Chesapeake Bay produces more than 400 million pounds of seafood harvest each year, with its watershed serving as home to more than 76,000 farms that contribute more than $6.8 billion to the region's economy and food to millions of Americans. And
This is the dance we do. Do you have it? The proclamation dance. Whereas all 1,500 miles of streams in Montgomery County flow into the Bay, and joint efforts by local government, businesses, nonprofits, and residents of Montgomery County have resulted in a comprehensive approach utilizing green, innovative practices that reduce the pollutants in local streams and rivers and help restore the Chesapeake Bay. And
somebody should really record this when we do this. Whereas Montgomery County Public Libraries and the Chesapeake Bay Foundation have partnered to increase awareness through their 2022 Summer Reading Challenge, Oceans of Possibilities, to ensure the next generation of residents understands the values of restoring and protecting the Chesapeake Bay. And
whereas Montgomery County, joining other local jurisdictions and organizations, has annually commemorated the first week of June as Chesapeake Bay Awareness Week, with events and programming designed to mark the progress and educate residents on the need to continue efforts critical for the protection and restoration of the Chesapeake Bay.
now therefore be it resolved that the County Council of Montgomery County, Maryland hereby proclaims June 4th through 12th, 2022 as Chesapeake Bay Awareness Week.
And the Montgomery County Council urges all residents, this is the important part, all residents to recognize the importance of the Chesapeake Bay to our economy and environment, and to engage in activities that will help preserve and sustain our county watersheds and the Chesapeake Bay, presented this 14th day of June in the year 2022, signed by our council president. We are going to present this to both the Director of Environmental Protection and to our Director of Libraries.